6 months after arriving, Malinowski began to study an ancient tradition that really intrigued him. He noted that every few months, islanders would build fleets of elaborately decorated canoes as part of a tradition known as kula. For kula, they set out on voyages, leaving behind friends and family for months at a time. And kula voyages from neighbouring islands would be awaited with great anticipation.
What you would see over the horizon, these tiny, tiny canoes converging until there might be 60 or 80 or possibly 100. You will suddenly see people on the island start going into the sea to meet these canoes. And as the canoes come nearer, the people going into the sea will recognize individuals on the canoes.
Kula visitors were treated to great feasts, attracting hundreds of locals to these celebrations. Particularly striking were the risks the islanders were prepared to take for kula, as Malinowski himself discovered late one night sailing between islands.
We passed very close by a coral island, the sea smashing against the rocks. The islanders were all shouting, trying to control the craft. I was terrified. I started to think of Elsie, sleeping peacefully, and that I might never see her again. Once, the crews of a whole fleet of Trobriand canoes were captured, killed, and eaten by the inhabitants of unknown villages. And let's not forget the perils of simply sailing these seas. The reefs, sandbanks, and coral rocks waiting to smash the fragile canoes. The horror of it. All in the pursuit of kula.
These islanders, it seemed, risked everything for kula. And strangest of all, the reward for these perilous journeys was the exchange of flimsy shell trinkets. Kula was time-consuming and dangerous, all for something that seemed apparently pointless. Malinowski made it his goal to discover what it was about kula that was worth risking your life for. Over the following months, he explored kula from every angle. He questioned the locals, watched the rituals, and tried to make sense of it all. Gradually, the secrets of kula began to unfold.
There is such nonchalance in the men arriving for kula. They come, they sit on the canoe, they chatter and haggle, give in. I eat my rice and kippers and read my Kipling. We talk some more, and gradually I manage to drag out the information I'm after.
The information that he dragged out of the locals revealed a complex and sophisticated ritual. First, there were the people who took part.
Only important men could actually afford to go on a kula expedition, partly because this meant commissioning a canoe, so it meant some sort of outlay.
Malinowski soon discovered that kula was almost exclusive to the tribal chiefs and men of rank. These VIPs were connected by kula to a social network that reached far beyond the Trobriand Islands. And at the heart of kula were the shell trinkets.
In order to establish relationships with other people, you have to establish relationships with something. And these valuables are the means through which you establish relationships. And this means that people go on large expeditions to go and fetch valuables from elsewhere. They receive people who bring valuables to them. And the result is, if you link up all these relationships, suddenly you find you're in a huge chain of relationships. And this chain of relationships actually spreads across a large island area.
Malinowski uncovered a complex network of cooler exchange, covering 12 island groups spanning 200 miles of ocean. He also discovered why the shell necklaces and bracelets were so highly prized. Each one had a value that came from its unique history as it passed from person to person and from island to island. The value of each object lay in the renown of its former owners.
This is the history of relationships, and what he wants to know is who has had this before, and to whom he's going to, and when he passes it on, his own name will, in a sense, be part of the history of the item.
So these weren't simply shell trinkets. Each chain of shells was a potent symbol of power and prestige. Malinowski's participant observation had revealed that, far from being pointless, Kula played a vital role in Trobriand society, reinforcing the status of the rich and famous.
This is quite a ranked society, and poorer people simply didn't enter into the Kula exchanges. So this was renown and prestige.
And like a trophy won in battle, owning a piece of Kula made you a hero. Living with the natives for 2 years had paid off. Malinowski had revealed that an apparently meaningless native custom was, in reality, significant and crucial to Trobriand society.